just listening to Aaron Budjen's teaching on the joy of Adam, something I recommend you listen to in his radio archives. The thought I had is about our relationship to our God and our freedom to make decisions. I was thinking about the the view I used to have. It wasn't Calvinist, but it's slightly Calvinist as far as God's sovereignty. That nothing happens that God doesn't want to happen. Obviously, there's things people do things that God doesn't want them to do. So I guess you would have to say that the people that God has chosen, they're all doing what He wants them to do. And the people, from a Calvinistic standpoint or God's total sovereignty standpoint, in the sense that there's no sovereignty, in the sense that there's no rogue atom or person or anything in the universe. You are either God's or you're not. And so if you're God's, you have no freedom. God's as in the possessive. You belong to Him. You do whatever He tells you to do. And if you're not God's, that's where you have freedom. Never mind just the how do you figure out now which one is which, because there's so many people claiming to be God's, and they are doing so many different things. That would seem to indicate that God, there's a problem with His management, because He hasn't made it clear who is the right one. There's so many different denominations. From the context, if you're not accepting that God is letting people simply make their own decisions the best they can with the knowledge they have, or rather He is in control. And so you could almost say from that standpoint, that the person with the most freedom is the person who is in rebellion, the person who does not belong to God. That's the only one who has any freedom. And the person who is under God's sovereignty, the person who belongs to God has no freedom, because they have no choice. They can't do something that God doesn't want them to do. God brought the animals to Adam to see what He would name them. So if you extrapolate that out to life as we know it, for the believer, the one who is ostensibly walking with God, we are all doing things. God is bringing tasks to us, thoughts to us, whatever He's bringing to us, to see what we will do with them. I believe the restoration is a desire on His part to restore that back to His creation. That in this world even, we would have a relationship with Him where He brings things to us, opportunities, situations, people, animals, jobs, tasks, to see what we will do. Not totally independent of Him, but in the knowledge that He is with us. Adam apparently had quite an intelligence to name all these animals, and he understood so many things that maybe we don't. There is an intuitive sense that he had in his relationship to his God, because it was just him and God and the creation. That's all there was. So unspoken things were very powerful. I believe that there's things that Adam simply understood because of the circumstance. There he was with his creator, and his creator brought him something to do. And the point that Aaron made was, well, what if Adam would have said, I don't feel like doing that. I want to go look at the trees today, or the leaves, and see how they cast shadows and things like that. I mean, he could have said that. And I think he was making a rhetorical point in that if you're with God, if you're really just in His presence, 100%, you're just going to be doing things with Him. There won't be a thought to say thanks but no thanks. Obviously, none of us are in that situation. But Adam was. He was in that situation. It wasn't like, oh, I guess I better. God said so. No, it was just that was life. And that's what the goal is to bring us back to, is that sort of life where it's almost second nature. Just like, I don't think, okay, I just exhaled. Now I need to inhale. No, you do it. I'm not saying that walking with God is less or equivalent to just a physical action. I'm just saying that He wants it to be a lifestyle. And if we really think about it, we probably want it to be a lifestyle too, of just like the other things we do. We don't really think about. We get up and go to work. We don't think every action we do as we go throughout the day, as in how we drive our car. Now I'm going to steer left. Now I'm going to steer right. Now I'm going to put the papers from the inbox to the outbox, or whatever our tasks are throughout the day, we do them as it's not a form of automation. There is thought involved, but there's an intimacy involved with those things because we are so close and intimate with that activity that we can do it in a very efficient way and a very competent way without having to go through thinking. In fact, that is the thing that makes it better, that we don't have to think about it. Because when you think about it, when you're learning to ride a bike, you're learning to drive a car, you're learning to do your job in the beginning, you're thinking and there's great energy being applied and great focus being applied, and you're not that good at it. You're not that good at it. So it becomes, I'm trying to keep away from cliches like second nature. It's not second nature. It's the first nature he wants instilled in us. Is that, hey, I'm just walking with my Father. I don't have to think about that all the time. I'm just doing things with him. He gives me something to do, okay, and I just do it. I just respond. That's the way life is. That's the way it's supposed to be. I know I started out in my original point saying about his sovereignty as it relates to our freedom or lack thereof it, and that the religious person would seem to indicate that we have no freedom to make any choices, which I found to be ironic, which in essence is what they're saying. If you have this God who's going to make sure that everything happens exactly the way he wants it from beginning to end, I'm not saying he doesn't have an end goal. Of course he has an end goal, and he's going to make sure that that happens. It's just that he obviously gives us decisions between the beginning and the end. I believe, or I came to a realization that, well, I didn't create myself. I'm not going to determine when this life ends, so how can I be in control of every moment in between? I make decisions in the moments in between. It's just I've chosen to have him there with me and be the number one factor, or at least that's my desire, to have him be the number one factor in the decisions I make between those 2 points that I have no control over. So I should consult with him. I should consider what his plans or his thoughts or his ideas on the whole situation might be from circumstance to circumstance. So I try to apply that, include that, and make that my second nature, my first nature, so that I'm doing things with him with an understanding that we are doing these things together. And it's not that he's asking for my input. He's so much as he's just allowing for my input, and that I can trust that type of God, a God that would let me have input in the things that I'm doing, that now that I'm in his body, I'm with him. It sounds crazy to me still to say that God trusts me, but what else can he say? He lets you make decisions on certain things, not because it's not the same type of trust we have in him. It's not because he trusts that I will always do the right and good thing, but that the faith really is on himself, that, well, Mark might mess up, but he trusts me, so I'm going to let him do the best that he can in this, and together we'll get things done, because he trusts me. So the trust begins with him, and because I put my trust in him, he can then let me try things, let me figure things out. I mean, I don't know if an elephant is a silly name, or giraffe, or whatever. We just all get used to it. Maybe when that was first said, it sounded silly. And God just said, well, he gave that gazelle, that was a good one. I like that one. That was, some of these other names, well, I don't know, but Adam's doing a good job. And as long as he trusts me, everything's going to be fine. And of course, we know what happened after that. The rest is history, as they say. And I'm not sure if I formed this thought good, but I just wanted to get that down, that the irony of religious people, we have freedom. You're free in the Lord. That's all over the place. The Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. There is freedom. But what is the freedom? According to religion, it's the freedom to do what you are told, and exactly what you are told, and do it perfectly, or I guess in the case of certain belief systems, you have no choice. You're just going to do what you're told. So isn't that beautiful? There's no way you can make a mistake, because God's just choosing everything for you. Even your mistakes, he has purposes for that, but he chose it. And he gave Adam the names. He just spiritually put them in his mind, and Adam said them just the way he was supposed to say them. But I not only like the other way of thinking, but I see in the Bible indications, because it does say that he brought the animals to him to see what he would name them. And so many more it shows me, because Paul made mistakes, Peter made mistakes, they all made mistakes. The only one that didn't make a mistake was his son, who was his own word made flesh. And he allows us to learn, he allows us to grow, he allows us to mature. What else can we do? We're children. That's what we're put here for. And when we trust in him, we can have freedom to make mistakes. And the freedom that really comes from knowing, can only come from knowing you're safe in his arms. You're safe in his hands, even if you completely blow it. Now that's freedom. That's freedom. The freedom to know, even if I completely blow it, I just do everything wrong, I still have my Father's love with me. It's here. It's never gonna. Now that's the type of freedom I am so grateful to have right now. Instead of wondering, am I in the right camp? Am I being controlled by the right spirit? There's only one. There's only one God and Father of all, who is through all, above all, and in you all. That's my Father. That's my Jesus. That's my everything. And I thank him because I have something so much greater than religion or denomination or training or obedience or rules, regulations, commandments. I have his spirit. And that's the way it was designed from the beginning. And that's why he restored it to us, so we could have our place with him in his garden again. Right here on earth, you can be with your Father in his and your garden. In